Hello, everyone. Melanie here with CGL Recruiting. And today we're going to talk about jobs that pay over $100,000 a year. Now, listen, when we're talking about this, the reason I want you to know about these types of jobs is so many people get into a career and don't realize the position that sounded cool may only pay $40,000 a year. So it is an important factor anytime you're looking at your career. Now, of course, there's lots of jobs that are over 100,000 that are ones that you can easily think of, like a doctor or a lawyer. But I wanted to pull some of the other ones for you to give you information of some jobs you may not have thought about that you could either pivot into or you may want to start your career into. Now, if you haven't subscribed yet, please take a moment, do that now, and not only subscribe, but hit that bell for notifications. And when you do hit it, make sure you click notifications for all, and that way it will tell you every time we release a new video, when we hold a live event, or give you other information and data to help you with your job search and your career. All right, let's get started and looking at these 10 jobs that pay over 100,000. Now, this one is in the medical field, but it is not a full medical doctor like a psychiatrist is, and this is the role of a psychologist. Now, psychologist data tells us that the average mean salary, is just over 100,000 at 100,130. And at the end of this, I will tell you how you can pull all of this salary data and more if you're interested in certain jobs for your career. A psychologist is much, much easier than if you're trying to go out and be an anesthesiologist or trying to be a surgeon. So it is something that if you're wanting to get into that medical field, but not willing to commit to all of the education that you may be required to do, psychologists may be a really good one for you to take a look at. Now, on the other side, what I'd like you to consider for a job that's over 100,000 is in material science. And material scientists have really come into their own over the past several years, looking at not only, ways to combine metals and plastics and elastomers and other things into materials that are stronger or ones that are more biodegradable. Material science have an average mean salary of $104,450. Now remember, you could be earning more and you could be earning a little less depending on your level of experience and how good you are at your job. But the average mean salary for this position does fall over that 100,000. Now, next one we're going to take a look at is commercial pilots. Now, when we talk about commercial pilots, this is one of those jobs that was always, I want to be a pilot, I want to fly planes. And a lot of people would get their private pilot's license, but then not keep going because it is additional training and education to get that commercial pilot's license. So if you are able to go through and get all those different levels, it does have a good mean salary of $110,830, as well as a lot of different perks on your different travel costs. Moving on, the next one, looking more towards the marketing side, one of the positions that you may not know is over 100,000 is those people that are in the role of art director. Now, art directors generally have a team that works underneath them, but these art director positions, we always think of marketing managers or marketing directors as the ones that are over. You can be more in just that art director type of a role or function and be over 100K at $114,490 for their average mean salary. The next one, now there's lots of engineers that are over 100K. There are lots of them, but one of the ones I want to focus in on with you is chemical engineers. Chemical engineering has a mean salary of $114,820, and I should tell you that all of this is the mean salaries from 2020. So there's definitely going to be years where it's going to be a little higher and years where it's going to be a little lower, but this data is actually from 2019-2020. But again, chemical engineers, I think of one of the engineering areas that's not looked at sometimes as much as everybody thinks mechanical engineering and civil engineering. Great salaries here with these chemical engineering roles. Now, let's take another one of the medical ones that is not going all the way to the full medical doctor, surgeon, anesthesiologist. This is a role that's really come into its own and had a lot of growth in the market. And this is the role of physician assistant. Now, physician assistants can earn an average mean salary of about $116,080. It is, again, a really, really good option if you're not committed to do all of the rest of the medical school. So it's something to look at if you're trying to consider going down that path. Now, if you're looking over 100K jobs, there are loads of IT jobs that are over 100K. And one of those roles that you might want to consider is computer network architects, which are actually at a mean salary of 119,230. Now, again, lots and lots of computer roles are ones over 100,000, but not all of them. If you're focusing in on more of the help desk type of persona, generally those roles are not hitting this 100K mark unless you tend to move all the way up into like a help desk, like third tier support, or a help desk manager type role where you have a large group of individuals below you. Lots of programmer roles, though, do hit over that 100K role, or 100K level, I should say. Another position which you may want to consider in that aviation industry is those air traffic controllers. Now, air traffic controllers do have an air traffic controlling school that they attend and everything, and the mean salary for them is about 127,440. And one of the things I do hear from people that are in air traffic control is it is a highly competitive business for certain airports in key cities. So you have to know that you can only have this role in a city that's large enough in order to support one of these roles. The bigger the airport, the bigger the salary, right? The more things coming in. If you're in a very small town, that's probably where you're going to see this salary degrading some. Another one of those marketing positions made it up to that over 100K role at 100K level, and that is public relations and fundraising managers. Now, they put these two together on this particular salary survey data. But if you're looking at these roles, they're averaging about 135,580 for their mean salary. Now, fundraising managers sometimes can get a percentage, actually, of the money that they raise, depending on if it's a private fundraising company. The public relations managers are a more traditional role that I think more people are probably familiar with. Let's take a look at one more, our last one on our list for today, and this is one of the ones from HR, Human Resources, and that is compensation and benefits managers. Now, compensation managers in general are usually in pretty high demand and tend to have salaries that are higher. A lot of companies tend to put these two things together, looking at a total rewards, total comp picture. And for those comp and benefits managers, you may not realize, have an annual mean salary of about 137,160. Now, where did I pull all of this data? There are loads of different salary surveys out there, loads of places that you can get information. Some of them cost, some of them are free. They're only as good as the data that goes in. The ones that are high cost are usually ones that are targeted, where a company has gone out and targeted certain industries, certain positions, and is getting those results in. The ones that tend to be lower cost are the ones that are self-reporting. And that's ones like even on systems like Monster, you can get salary data. Now, this particular data that I pulled from you is all, and I should say this is all US data. I should have probably said that in the beginning. But this particular one that I pulled for you is all from BLS, which is the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And this salary data is 100% free to everybody. You can go on to the bls.gov, I think is their website, or just type in BLS. You're going to see tons of information there. And one of the things is the salary survey information. Now, here's the great thing about it. You can even look at which ones are higher, which ones are lower, and even see which ones have had the biggest increase from years previous. I hope this data is helpful and maybe helped you think about what position you want to target for your next career. As always, if you have questions, put them in the comments down below. We do try to respond to each and every one. Don't forget to subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.